Well, hello and welcome back. Got my husband, Big D, here.
It's me, and we got my husband, Batty.
Hi. And we are
Endzone Enthusiasts.
Yay! Yay! So, I'm kind of more of the casual viewer, and Big D is deep in it, in the lore, all the information. And so I know that there's been a lot going on in the world of coaching for college football.
A lot of it.
So honestly, Big D, go ahead and give us a rundown. What are the updates we need to know? And how is this kind of affecting the field of college football overall?
Okay. Well, because we're in Florida, we're going to start with an SEC conversation. We're going to, the best. We're going to talk about the Big Ten a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the ACC. So starting with the SEC, the thing you need to know is the number one move in the coaching carousel was Lane Kiffin to LSU. That was the controversy. Right. Everybody was talking about it. Is he going to Florida? Is he going to stay at Ole Miss? LSU came in, and they got him. So that's a big move.
LSU got Lane Kiffin.
Yes.
Right, yes.
So he got a $91 million contract fully guaranteed.
Ka-ching.
Yeah, and y'all just had to pay out Brian Kelly, so that's going to be interesting to see.
We'll see if Brian Kelly gets paid. We'll see. We'll see.
So that's really the biggest move. I think LSU is going to be good. LSU is one of those things that is kind of like being in a car with really good co-pilot driving. As long as you don't run it off the road, it's going to be good. That's kind of what LSU is. And you saw with Brian Kelly, even though he wasn't, rumored, he didn't work a lot. LSU's a good program. You can win there. You've had, other coaches win. So I think he'll be good there. But thing is, I don't think Lane will be there for any kind of long stretch of time. But, good for them. Boo. And I'm sad that I won't get to play them this year. But, it's okay. So that's all you really need to know about Lane.
Gotcha. Lane, LSU.
And then also he was a liar because he talking about people tried to run him off the road and stuff. And,
allegedly.
Exactly. And the police said that didn't happen. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about LSU because I got the only kitty that matters.
On to the next.
Okay.
What else we got?
This is my kitty right here.
Yeah, for real.
You have Will Stein going from Oregon as the offensive coordinator now to Kentucky as the head coach. So this one was kind of a big shockwave because like Will Stein was one of the top coordinators in the industry. He's phenomenal. And for him to get that job, he hasn't had head coaching experience, but I think working under Dan Lanning at Oregon, a lot of how to structure a program. I think he's going to be a beast at Kentucky. I think he's already, showing that he's going to be hard to beat from a energy standpoint, but I'm excited for Kentucky. They need a good coach like that. Mark Stoops did a really great job keeping that program, stable and elevating them to new heights, but it's really going to be a thing. I think this is a good move to get the young up and coming coordinator in to, kind of take Kentucky to the next level. So I think they're going to be good at Kentucky, and I think they're going to be a problem for people, but you probably are going to have some of the head coaching woes that are going to, for a new head coach, but I think that's going to be a good move for Kentucky.
Cool.
Next, we go to Ole Miss, where they promoted the defensive coordinator, Pete Golding, to the head coach. I think that was more about not losing the players. And, there was so much controversy about Lane taking coaches, taking the offensive staff. And, now the offensive staff has to come back to help with the playoff for Ole Miss. So that was such Ole Miss got done dirty in all this. Like, take out my Florida Gator love. Ole Miss, I felt bad for them because I think Pete Golding can be good, but he's definitely not that media personality that Lane was. And I don't know if Ole Miss is going to get the attention that it's been getting when they had Lane. But it'll be exciting to see what Pete Golding can do there.
Well, they better get their wins and they'll get attention.
Yeah,
Let's go, Pete.
We'll see what happens. Alex Golesh went from USF to Auburn.
Golesh at Auburn.
The Russian.
What?
Yeah, he was actually born in Russia.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to bring the offense that they thought they were going to get with Hugh Freeze. He is a great offensive mind. He's, kind of up and coming. He worked under Josh Heupel at Tennessee, and a lot of people say he was the best part of that coaching staff when he was there. They haven't reached the same heights. And then at USF, he's done a really great job. So I think he's going to be good there. And I think with the, he'll raise the floor of Auburn. I think that'll be the minimum. And then he was able to hang on to the defensive coordinator, which I think was a really great move. DJ Durkin. Yeah, he's a phenomenal coach. He's coached at Florida. He's coached at Texas A&M. He's coached around the league. So I think he's going to be good there. But I think Golesh, it's going to really be how much resources are they going to give you? Are they going to give you the same amount of money to go to the portal and get the quality of players he's going to need? But I think he's going to run a very similar offense to what you saw at Tennessee these past few years. And it'll be successful, but you kind of notice that people are going to catch on and there's going to be a lot of things. But I also have to give him props. When he was at USF, he beat Florida this year. So he's, he has some skills. So we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, Auburn, I think, will be in a good place.
Who else we got? Auburn.
We got my man, Jon Sumrall.
I thought that was your man. What are you talking about?
Cut the camera.
Lena, you heard it. Okay, Jon Sumrall at Florida. Go on.
My playoff.
Oh, I know. Tulane going to the playoffs.
And that's why my coach he said he got 2 phones, 2 jobs, and 2 hours of sleep. Okay. He's still running Tulane.
Been there.
Yeah, my boy working. But he got the Florida job, and honestly, like at first, everybody was upset because he wasn't Lane Kiffin, who everybody wanted.
Yeah.
And I think once the initial shock wore off, and you got to actually see just his first interview, I think he nailed it because Florida is best when it has an edge. Like, that's the thing about Spurrier. He had an edge. He had the fun and gun. He was going to, be hard-nosed. He's going to run the score up. He doesn't care. Like, he is a true competitor, and he wants to win. Urban Meyer was the same way. He wanted to be physical. He hated losing more than he liked winning. Like, that's the kind of edge you need back at Florida. And I think you've already seen in these staff moves he's made with getting Buster Faulkner from Georgia Tech and having that amazing offense that's going to be coming. And that's the other thing is, like, don't expect to see a run focus, like a QB run focus offense. Buster Faulkner will change it up, and he's going to use what players he has. So
gotcha.
I think that's exciting. Then
Buster.
Yeah. And then also getting Brad White from Kentucky. I think this is the SEC level coaching staff that Florida should have always had. Billy had the resources to have a coaching staff like this, but he didn't do it. So this is going to be a big moment that we'll see what Jon Sumrall does. But I think this is an exciting hire with the coaching hire she's making, bringing back the former offensive lineman as the new offensive line coach. I think is a great move. The guy's won 2 national championships with them. So I think it's going to be a good move. I'm excited.
Okay, who else we got? What else is going on in the SEC?
Last but not least is Arkansas. They got Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. He took over. I'm excited about him. I think he's going to be good. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit worried about some of his hires already because anytime you bring a lot of your staff from a lower level school up a level, it doesn't necessarily translate. And I say that because, like, Billy Napier did that. He brought his Sunbelt crew, and the strength and conditioning wasn't on par where it needed to be. The level of coaching wasn't there. The development wasn't there. So I think that's my big reservation about Ryan Silverfield with Memphis. He did do good. He hired former Florida defensive coordinator Ron Roberts as his DC, which I think is a great move. And I think that pairs well with how physical Arkansas wants to be. I think Ron Roberts is going to be good no matter where he goes. I've been a fan. I like him. I think he's a great coach. And so I think that was a great move for them bringing a veteran to Arkansas. But yeah, I think it's going to be good. But I just worry about some of that, bringing your same staff, and same thing with Alex Golesh. He brought some of his USF staff too, which is kind of like, I don't know if they're SEC recruiting level. So it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, the SEC had a lot of turnover this season. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is madness.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to set up for interesting because next year will be the first year that the SEC goes to non-conference games. So these coaches aren't getting it easy. They're going to have to prepare, and we'll see what happens once we get to the season. But yeah, that's the SEC.
Okay, SEC, big things popping, little things dropping. Who we doing next? Big Ten?
We're going Big Ten.
What's going on in the Big Ten, Big D?
So we're going to Penn State because somebody need to finally.
They finally filled Penn State.
Bruh, how y'all took 19 years to hire the man that was
they were the first ones.
Yeah. And y'all was right next door to go get him.
The first shall be last, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last shall be.
See, biblical.
First, something like that. But I think Matt Campbell's a good hire. Josh Pate has been on the Matt Campbell train for a long time. And I do think Penn State's going to be good under him. I don't know how much of an elevation it's going to be because I think James Franklin was one of the best coaches. I think what happened this year is when you bring in, a big name defensive coordinator and you're bringing in, some newness. I don't think they had enough time to let it gel, but the expectations were already set. So that's going to be the thing about Matt Campbell is I'm like, I don't see him on the same level necessarily as James Franklin, but we'll see what he does with the program. He's bringing some of his coaches over, which I think, may work out for him. But Penn State has the resource for him to be, decent, but I just don't know if you actually got to upgrade over James Franklin with that hire. But, you do you. Then we got Pat Fitzgerald, got back into coaching, and he got the Michigan State job, which I think he's going to be under a lot of scrutiny because the way things went at his last stop as a head coach. So
what had happened?
That's a separate video, and we ain't gonna get into that.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, never mind.
Yes,
never mind.
Yeah,
okay.
So
Pat Fitzgerald, Michigan State.
Yeah,
did I get it right?
But I think he'll be good there. Michigan State. They have the Michigan problem.
Lakes? I don't know.
No, they're in the same state as Michigan. Program Michigan. Whew. And so
I thought it was a Michigan problem.
And the resources are going to be a little bit different. But, we'll see what he can do there. The one I'm excited about is Bob Chesney going from JMU to UCLA. That one is a little bit of a stretch because, Bob Chesney's really been on the East Coast all this time.
Yeah, it's quite a move.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit, but I think for him, as long as he can put the right infrastructure and coaching staff underneath him that knows the West Coast well, he'll be successful. And then also, he's one that has his team in the playoffs also.
Really James Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That hired Billy Napier.
Billy going to James Madison.
Yeah, go back to the Sun Belt.
And Lena just will not leave her chocolate daddy alone.
Sit down, Mama.
You can sit on my lap. Down. He's doing all the talking.
But yeah, I think he's good. He's a young up and coming coach, and what he's able to do at James Madison has been great because, they had Cignetti before him. And the fact that, Cignetti took all those players and he still was able to rattle off all those wins immediately from portal. I think he's going to be fine at UCLA. I think he'll really infuse it with some youthful energy that's going to give them a little bit of that edge and kind of make them, the kind of cool school.
Nice.
But we'll see with them. But yeah, the Big Ten, not as many moves as the SEC. But
that's fine.
Bob Chesney is going to be the one I'm going to watch at UCLA. I think that's going to be fun.
Gotcha.
Shall we go to the Atlantic Coast Conference?
Sure. The ACC. Let's hear about it.
We have Tosh Lupoi.
I like that.
Yes.
Tosh Lupoi.
Mm-hmm. From Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Quack, quack.
Going to Cal.
Okay, another move.
Yeah, another coordinator. For him, luckily, he's just kind of coming down. He was up there in Oregon and he just coming down the coast. But I think this is a really good hire for him. I think the ACC has so much opportunity. And I think he has been great at Oregon. So the fact that, you lost your defensive coordinator for a head coaching position shows that Dan Lanning's doing great things, developing talent at Oregon.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to be good there. I think he's been one of their best recruiters. He runs a great system, and I love him as a coach. I think he's really fascinating, and I even would have wanted to see him possibly come to the SEC at some point. But I think that's going to be an exciting because I think what Dan Lanning did is building Oregon into an SEC team in on the Pacific Coast. I think he's going to create another SEC level team in the ACC, which works really well. So I'm excited about that. But I think the biggest move of the ACC was James Franklin going to Virginia Tech. I think that was the big one that was like, wow.
Yeah.
And he was able to get them like a top 25 recruiting class already at Virginia Tech. He's bringing over some high level talent. And then also the fact that the head coach that was just fired was his DC at one point for James Franklin. And he's willing to come back and be the DC at a school that fired him as head coach.
Wow.
Under James Franklin. I think that says a lot
saying
about
something.
Yeah, that says a lot about who James Franklin is, a man that somebody would, kind of put their pride aside and be willing to come back and, continue to develop because he's been successful. And I think this will be a launch point to get Brent Pry back into a higher level job. But I think Virginia Tech is immediately going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the ACC because when Virginia Tech is up and running, it is beautiful to see. Virginia, the DMV, like the recruiting grounds are so fertile, and you saw that easily when he was able to get the recruits to Virginia Tech from Penn State. So, and the portal's not even open. He's going to get some good players. And the other one I'll say, Pritchard is the one. He was the quarterback coach for the Washington Commanders in the NFL.
Oh, gotcha.
He's going to be the new Stanford head coach. So he goes from a QB coach to a head coach. So that'll be interesting. But I think he'll be good with Stanford. You have Andrew Luck, who's the GM. So, I think he'll have a lot of resources to be successful at Stanford. But, my brain still doesn't want to compute that ACC schools touch the other coast. It's just my brain has a hard time with that.
Atlantic coast, and then it's like literally on the Pacific.
And then also taking a school like Stanford, who has very high academic expectations. Like they don't just let anybody in. I think that's also taken a very interesting job. But you've seen people like Clark Lee do it at Vanderbilt where, they were able to get high level people into the school, high level players who have the academic background to get into it. But I think that's going to be the fascinating part. But yeah, that's the coaching carousel for now. I think Michigan just reopened.
Michigan is open, right? Yeah, this is a
breaking news. Bro. That story about what happened.
That's another one that
we ain't gonna talk about. That
we don't. You can just look it up.
Yeah, Google that because that, bro,
not on my clean lips.
Your side chick was the one escorting your wife around on game days.
I got my side chick right here.
She my main chick. My main chick. You the side chick, man. We all know
gosh.
That. But y'all. Thank y'all for this journey. Thank y'all for this amazing season. It's been so much fun getting to talk football. For me, I just consume so much football content. I'm just glad to have a way that I can just kind of get it out my system.
Share it with the people.
Because, in my daily job, I don't get to talk about football like that.
He doesn't.
So this was great for me, but also I love to be able to inform other people and give them a little bit of my love. So as always, we thank you for joining Endzone Enthusiasts, where we feel football can be fun for everyone. On behalf of Big D, Fat E, and my Lil C, we're going to say peace until the playoff games coming up next week. So peace.
Bye.
Bye.
I can't get up. Oh, thank you.